Hi, Joe Glavin with City Floor Supply. Welcome back to Facebook Live. It's been a long time since we were able to do it live, and appreciate you guys being out there. At the end of this unboxing, I'll go over our new social media contest, so it'll be a lot of fun. Essentially what we're going to do, we were actually putting a Hummel together this morning and sending it out for sale, and I noticed, I was looking at it, I'm like, I haven't done a video on the Lagler Hummel that shows all the upgrades that they've had over the last year or two. So so that's what we're going to do. We're going to unbox a brand new Hummel. This time last year I was at the Lagler factory in Germany and got to see the production of all of their units, the single, the Leisure, Elan, the Unico, and then the Lagler Hummel. And what an amazing facility. Maybe we can post pictures up after we're done here of that trip, because I know we have them. It got me to thinking, I got to see some of these items that they ended up adding that were in production and in testing phases. They had different sizes and all, and they asked our opinion. It was pretty cool. So anyhow, shout out to Mark from Lagler. I thank you for that trip. It was fantastic. So here we go. I have John with me. We are still following COVID protocols, so we're less than 6 feet, so we're going to remain masked. I will take this off when we go over with the unit to discuss all the changes or improvements. So let's do it. So the Hummel comes crated. I was just telling John that the crating system that they have at the factory for this, these crates are all one flat piece, and when the unit gets mounted to the base, they kind of build this box and this reinforced steel structure around it. It's incredible. It's so efficient over there, really, and the factory was spotless. I mean, it was just a wonderful facility, and Carl Lagler should be very proud of that. It's a great factory. So obviously this is the dust stack, and then it has the control rod, and it has a new feature which kind of spurred why I wanted to do this live video, and it's the feathering handle. So we'll discuss that. And I'm just going to set this over here. So we'll get the cable out. All right, safety protection switch. Which actually interesting to know, right? I asked them why we need a safety protection switch when I saw all of the Hummels lined up to go to Europe. Anywhere in Europe, they didn't have these. So they said it's because our electrical system requires a twist lock plug for 220. And in pretty much every house, room, it's already 220. So you plug into the wall like R110. And because of that, if there's ever an issue, you just pull the plug out of the wall, where we can't do that because we're twist locked and tied into a breaker box. So this safety protection switch is our pull it out of the wall. It's to shut the machine off. Thought that was a little interesting fact. All right. Ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. All right. So obviously these come in crated, and a lot of guys will reuse these box because it has the base structure in there. and put them in their vans. It's a good tip. You take the sides off and use the base to mount this in your van. Okay. So that's pretty much it. They made it such an efficient design, and then we're going to go over all these features that, assembling that out of the crate, and then we'll test it and ship them out assembled like this. But just for our guys, being able to put something together that quick and get it going is a great testament to Lagler and their manufacturing abilities. All right, so I'll see you guys up in the shop. This is almost a 600-700 square foot repair shop for all of the sanding equipment that you guys use as professionals, and anywhere from drums to top roller units to wheel assemblies, motor work, capacitor switches. We do it all. So this is our shop, nice and bright, nice and clean. So anyhow, why unbox the Hummel that's been out for 50 years? Well, because it's been out for 50 years. And their anniversary edition came out with this LED light. And this year they came out with the feathering handle, and they came out with a new stop block instead of the wing nut for the control rod. So, all of these improvements on an already phenomenal piece of equipment deserves an unboxing. So, as you saw, I put the dust stack pipe into the chassis, tightened up this wing nut here. So this used to be a wing nut, and sometimes the wing nut would get stripped. This particular assembly avoids the lock nut that would be on there from moving, and when that would move up or down, it would change the position or height of the drum off the floor. So just a really nice, quick way of putting this together, and you couldn't get any simpler. So it's a positive detent that locks it in and gives us the correct drum height off the floor. Cool. Oh, perfect. So you can see this is the old assembly, and what would happen is these would get stripped out. There would be a locking ring here with a set screw in it, and sometimes that would get loose or move. So that lower assembly coming up and down determines the drum height. So they just avoided all that. Improve the system. Take a great machine and make it better. So, one of those improvements that, again, deserves to be shown on the unboxing. So then, I mentioned the LED light. The LED light, if we're in low light conditions, which almost all new construction sites are, and we're coming up on the time of year where early morning starts are dark and late afternoon shifts are now dark. So having the LED light is just a bonus. We have, get to show it off here. I won't turn the lights out, but. So you can see it's adjustable. You can see the path we're working in. You can't beat it. It's not in the way. It stands, you know, behind the proudest part of the machine, so it's not going to be in your way. Left and right against the wall, it's not going to touch. You know, it's just in the right spot. And if you have a fully inflated bag here, you can still see the light. So bright really lights up the place. So again, in the fall, we're in the fall now, evening, afternoon, evening job sites, early morning job sites, it's going to light up, particularly in new construction if you don't have electric on the site and you're running off a generator. I'm just going to leave this here because we are going to start it. So LED light, new lower clamp assembly, and feathering handle. Now when we were at the factory in last September, they had a bunch of these designs, you know, on the table and were showing them to us. And this assembly is adaptable to your current Hummel. So another, you know, one of those production designs, anything that you make new should fit the old, and with Lagler it always does. So this new assembly, this feathering hand assembly, will fit your old Lagler. So control knob is similar, but now you have the added of literally using the palm of your hand to feather in. It's ball bearing driven, so there isn't going to be friction wear on this. You're still using the same style control rod, just everything about it is quality. Full sealed ball bearing. You can adjust the position height for tube assemblies. So if you're in the lower bracket here for someone that needs a lower profile, then you can move the control rod assembly down. Again, always thinking of the improvements and making it better for the mechanic. You know, it was emphasized when we were in Germany that I would say at least 95 to 98% of this piece of equipment is made in-house. From bending the tube stacks, all the machining is done in-house. I think the only thing that comes in from a local motor manufacturer is the motor. You could see the powder coating line. They spray on the powder, goes through the oven and comes out, glossy Lagler green. Really cool. Really, this is all stamped there. They get to, by doing that, they get to keep quality control. And that was emphasized all the time. Always look at the quality control. So the machining, the CNC machining, which you could probably see here, just on this surface here where the motor mounts, that's not powder coated. Most of this machining is done after it was powder coated. It's like it was polished. The tooling was so sharp and run at the right rate, feed rate, and everything to make it a completely flat surface. So the top roller units remain pretty similar. So we're doing an unboxing. Somebody may not know what a Lagler Hummel is, but if you're watching this video, you probably do. It's an 8-inch belt sanding machine. Lagler invented the belt sanding machine. Carl's father, Eugen Lagler, and this is an unboxing of that. So let's go through. They give you every tool that you'll need for every nut, bolt, screw on this machine. You want to adjust the top roller. You loosen the lock nut up with this and adjust the Allen screw with one of these socket head wrenches. every wrench fits this unit. So I always get questions, what is this tool for? It's in my bag, I don't even know what it's for. So this is a wheel leveling tool. If you are servicing your own machine and you put a new set of wheels on and they move on you, then you'll have the ability to level them out. I'll just show you real quick. And that's what those elbows are for. So I don't know if you guys can get underneath here and see this, but there's an arrow on this side that's marked in like a Sharpie pen. And this is an indicator that that's the movable wheel. This one is permanent. It's got a locking set screw through the chassis into the shaft of this wheel. And this one does not. So this one is movable. So all you simply do is take these two flats and put them on the chassis. And the chassis here and here. And you'll notice that the chassis is milled here, so it's shiny. There's no paint on it, no powder coating. And that is the flat spot. They're parallel and in the same plane. So what we're going to do is measure the permanent wheel with this screw. So all I'm doing is setting this bottom of this bolt onto the top of the wheel. Almost like a little feeler gauge. Lock it in and then transfer that to this side and then move this wheel accordingly. That's it. It's a wheel leveling tool. This is your drum wrench. I believe will this work on the 12 too? It's deep enough. So it's a universal wrench now. It used to be shorter just for the 8s. To remove a drum off of the Hummel is really simple. Again, it goes back to that quality machining of this drum shaft, which is, it's pretty phenomenal. I'm going to put paper on it. So I'll put a belt on here, and then drop this to the floor. And that'll give me some resistance. So it's a left-handed nut on here, and you can see that that fits perfect. It gives you enough space to give it a tap with a hammer. Yeah, why not a flooring hammer, right? So that's it. So we got a fine thread on that. Again, don't forget that that is left-handed. And the beauty of that is it slides right off. And I'm going to take this key out, but I want to show you something. So again, all these parts are machined at their factory, and this shaft is ground machine perfect. That drum slides on. If you do decide to take the drum off like that, up in the air, just make sure that you line that key slot vertical so you don't lose the key down in the dust scoop. Don't ask me why I know that. It's a machine that is meant to be repaired over and over again when it's needed. With proper maintenance, it really doesn't need a whole lot of repair. And it's like something as simple as that you could do in the field. And that's what it's meant. So, I have a trivia question. And at the end, well, should we give something away? We'll give something away. What should we give away? Oh, I know what I got. I'll give you a golden Lagler model that I was given from the factory. If the first person who could tell me why this machine is called the Hummel, how's that? The reason that Eugen Lagler, inventor of this machine, called it Hummel. I'll put that out there. So the first person to tell us that, I'll give my golden Lagler like paperweight. How's that? So let me put this back on real quick. And that's all it really needs. Again, it's a fine thread. The nut has a shoulder in it, locks that drum in tight. So some of the things that we check before we ship out a Hummel is just make sure that the belts, thank you, that the belts aren't, there's no vibration in the belts, that the idler pulleys are making contact. Now they check all that at the factory, but it's still good just to check it from shipping. So that is an entire top roller assembly. Now the changes to this were made quite a while ago. They made this one casted unit and the same for the holder for the top roller itself. So that is the top roller. Sometimes what happens to a top roller is it gets debris between abrasive and wood dust and adhesive. They just get out of shape. If they lose their crown, the paper tracking will it won't track right, the belt. So just some of the things. So there's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and those 3 screws are here, here, and here. And you get that middle one out through the guard for the belt. Oh no. Oh, look at that. They changed that. How about that? See, there you go. So, used to be this guard was proud of this screw. And it had a hole in it that you could put the wrench through. And every time somebody wanted to take out that screw, when it came into the shop for repair, it would be stripped. Because they tried to put the wrench in between this guard and the screw, and they eventually would just strip it out. But they changed it, so they took that need for the hole out by lowering this portion. How about that? Learn something new every day. So we'll put this back together here. And if anybody wants, that's where you're going to access taking the belts off. You're going to lower this eye bolt counterclockwise to lower the drum or the motor down. Take the belts off, and then take the motor off. You're going to loosen these nuts and pull it out. So I get a lot of that's elementary for people that own a Hummel. But some of these changes, again, feather handle, control rod, light, and then this is drum pressure. So heavy, medium, and fine. If you haven't taken the PST training from Lagler, they usually team up with like a Finnish company or a distribution facility like us. Do it. Take advantage of that. All of the equipment is shown and run there, multiple pieces of that equipment. And we have multiple panels to have a bunch of people. I think at one time we had 30 people in here doing that. So you get to run the equipment and test it. And then Lagler shows you pretty much like their system for sanding a floor with their equipment. And it's a great concept. It's a great idea. They call it demystifying sanding, taking the voodoo magic out of sanding. I laughed when they said that, but it's true. Everybody has their own kind of way they sand a floor and what grit progression to use and all of that. So I did chuckle when they said that because it is true. Everybody has something different. and even other machine companies have something different, but they go through why you have these progressions and what you want to do sanding a floor. So it's a good class. It's the PST training. I forget what it stands for. Professional sanding training, I think it is what it is. But go ahead and look it up. We were able to take it in Germany, which was a lot of fun. Some of the other things that come are a manual, obviously. Then this one is in English. And you get your warranty card. You can fill that out, or you could have us fill it out and send it in. It has the serial number on it. The light and its functions, and then the cord holder. I don't know if you can focus in on that, but essentially the way the cord holder works is you are gonna loop it over this guy and then loop it around your cord and back up through. So it's just I forget the knot. You're gonna go in here, and that's it. So that's where your cord's gonna hang, and this is gonna loop through and hang your cord with this. So went over the wrenches, the top roller unit, all the changes, the wrench, the drum, wheel leveling. Anything else? Anybody else? Any questions? Any answers?
Nope. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows?
Should we give it away or save it for next time?
Maybe somebody will answer it tonight. The people that are going to know are people that either have been at the PST training or were in Germany, or that's kind of where that's going to come from. So, indeed. All right. The light is removable. There are some star knobs here you can loosen up, and then essentially the same system for the safety protection switch takes the light off. And the light can always be added. Again, that manufacturing motto from Lagler, anything new to upgrade a machine can be used on the old. Now that can be taken to extremes. I'm not talking about, a 1980 whatever Hummel that has the push button start motor. It's going to be pretty tough to mount something like that. But if it has a box like this, you can mount the light to it. All right, so I'm going to introduce, there's vacuum bag in here. Going to introduce our new social media contest. Go to our Instagram account, follow us on Instagram, tag someone, and comment. 3 things. Get a case, or try to win a case. All right, does that work for everybody? Good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. It's great to be back. Hope everybody stays safe. And yes?
Brian Burns. Because it hums like a bumblebee. In German means Hummel. Something like that.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Brian
right
Burns
there.
Wins the golden.
All right. So if Brian could send us your information and your mailing address so that I can put it in the package and send it to you. Nice job, Brian.